Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, those joining us through our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. This is part of our For-Your Health segment. Would it surprise you guys to know that 1 in 5 Americans, 1 in 5 develop skin cancer during their lifetime? In fact, every hour of every day, 1 American dies from melanoma. It is the deadliest of skin cancers. Well, there is hope, though. What if there were an innovative and painless way to get moles checked at your dermatologist's office or even at home through a telehealth appointment? Here to talk to us about that, we're excited to welcome board-certified dermatologist Dr. Julie Karen to our program to talk to us about some new developments that have been made. Dr. Karen, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me and highlighting this important issue.
Well, these numbers are really staggering, Dr. Karen, to think that, every hour that 1 American dies from melanoma. Can you give us some more insights, though, into the rates of melanoma?
Absolutely. Melanoma is increasing at a rapid rate. In fact, over the past decade, each year there's been a 44% annual increase in new melanoma diagnoses. So in 2021, it's estimated that 207,000 new melanoma diagnoses will be made, about half of which will be invasive melanoma. The good news is if melanoma is caught at its earliest stage, the cure rate is 99%, whereas fewer than 15% of those who have late-stage or metastatic disease will survive 5 years or longer.
And that's why we're so glad to have you here then to share with us some hope for our audience, Dr. Karen. So tell us about this innovative way now that moles can be checked using DermTech. Sure.
So in the past, the only way to assess a mole was to either observe it for clinical change or do a surgical biopsy. Now, the DermTech has introduced the DermTech Melanoma assay, which is an innovative, painless, and extremely accurate way to diagnose melanoma at the earliest possible stage, also, therefore, at the curable stage. So this is something that can be administered by your clinician or your dermatologist during a visit, or even, during the pandemic, this was extremely useful. It could be administered with clinician supervision through telemedicine. It is a smart sticker that gets applied to the skin. The lesion that is concerning is circled, and then the sticker is painlessly stripped away from the skin, thereby collecting some skin cells. Those cells get sent off to a laboratory where they are tested for the earliest genomic markers of melanoma.
That is amazing. Well, we're so glad we have you here to give us the facts, Dr. Karen, but there are, of course, a lot of myths out there as well. How important has that been in your work to kind of debunk some of those myths that people have when it comes to issues about skin health?
There are so many myths that I'm constantly trying to debunk. One that I like to focus on, with my first skin checks with individuals is despite what you think, the damage is not all done. It is true that the sun damage that we accrued as young adults and children very much does increase our risk of developing melanoma, which is why it's so important to protect ourselves from an early age. However, every decade we get an additional 22% of damage to our skin. So even as an adult, implementing sunscreen and sun-smart behaviors can reduce your risk of melanoma. Another myth that is actually a very positive one to share is that essentially all melanoma deaths are preventable if the disease is diagnosed early enough, which is why it is so critical to have routine skin examinations and get your moles checked. I find many patients have avoided coming in getting checked, even if they're concerned about a particular spot on their skin, because they may be worried about needles or cutting or unnecessary scars. But with this, painless, innovative way of assessing moles, that barrier really is reduced, and so we're trying to encourage patients to get checked more regularly.
So important, and as you mentioned, you can not only visit your dermatologist, but also, of course, through what a lot of people, including my family, have been using, and that being the telehealth appointments as well. Again, everyone, board-certified dermatologist Dr. Julie Karen has been our guest. Talk with us about this great technology with DermTech make sure you guys visit dermtech.com for more information. Again, that's dermtech.com. For those joining us via iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, we'll make sure that we link that up for you guys. Dr. Karen, thank you so much for this great information, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you so much. You too.
And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.